These changes are great. I think this is something that they should have done probably a long time ago. What's up, my friends? Welcome to an all new video. I'm U.S. Army veteran ThatChrisChaos, and today I'm here to tell you about some changes the Army is doing when it comes to AWOL status. If you are not familiar with AWOL, well, it just stands for absent without leave. Essentially, if a soldier turns up missing, doesn't show up for work or whatever, I think after 24 hours, then they are considered AWOL. These changes mainly come from everything that's been happening over in Texas. So we've had these soldiers turn up missing. They turned out to be not something where the soldier, ran away and was trying to get out of, working or getting out of being in the Army or anything like that. It turned out to be something very serious. So rightfully so, a lot of parents are, a little upset because these soldiers are getting classified as being AWOL when that's not the case. They didn't just try to abandon being in the United States Army. Something tragically happened to them and the Army categorized them as AWOL, put them in the same category that a lot of people think of like deserters and stuff. Also, essentially, if you are AWOL for more than 30 days, you are considered a deserter. So now this change comes to where now an investigation needs to take place. Instead of just simply saying that, hey, this soldier didn't show up for the past 24 hours, let's put him down as AWOL. No, they're gonna be put down as missing until they can conduct an investigation. So at the unit level, they're gonna do everything they can to investigate, to try to find out, where the soldier is at and try to find out, was this a case of the person, ran away and is trying to get out of being in the Army because they're not happy with being in the Army, or was it something more serious, like maybe they've been kidnapped or some foul play, something has happened to them. So adding this extra piece rather than just jumping to conclusions that, hey, the soldier's gone, we're gonna mark him down as AWOL, and then, that goes out in the news, right? So-and-so soldier is AWOL, when it could have been something more tragic, like they've been kidnapped, right? And people think of it, oh man, this horrible soldier is AWOL because they're deserting the military and blah, blah, blah. And that kind of lie gets spread around when maybe it turns out that they were kidnapped or killed or something along those lines, maybe. The exact quote from leadership that they mentioned in the article when it comes to this change in policy says, when someone is not present for duty, the assumption will be that they are missing and not AWOL. So they're definitely, kind of making some good steps in the right direction to not just assume that they're AWOL and start kind of assuming, hey, they're missing and we need to find out what happened to them. Whether that is something like they were kidnapped, or maybe the case of, maybe they are a soldier that just doesn't want to be in the Army anymore and they're trying to just escape this way. It goes on to then continue to say, the policy we had in place was somewhat confusing for some of our commanders, so we put out our new policy verbally. But it's in draft right now, and next week or two, it'll be in writing. So basically, this new policy isn't, as I'm making this video at least, set in stone, set in writing. It's more of a verbal type of thing, and they're working on kind of making it a more official thing and having it in writing that now we will consider them missing rather than AWOL until an investigation is conducted. So the Army will now have a missing category, and soldiers will be categorized into this missing category if maybe they haven't shown up for the past 24 hours or whatever, and then an investigation will be started to find out why they are missing. So then it basically says that soldiers will only become AWOL after a thorough investigation and thorough look through for the soldier, dealing with the family, dealing with law enforcement, and then we can prove that they are absent without leave, they say. So definitely something that's good, something that definitely they maybe hopefully forces leadership to kind of put a little bit more effort into it. I think that was a lot of the big complaint with everything that was happening in Fort Hood, Texas, was that people were just writing off these soldiers as being AWOL, and we'll just kind of deal with it when we can, and maybe see if we, put out an alert to like the police to see if someone can find them, but not really kind of like following through with a thorough investigation in some cases. And I think that's mainly what a lot of people were unhappy with, was that people were just being written off as being AWOL and nobody was really doing any real digging into what happened to the soldier. Maybe it's not something as simple as they just, took off. Maybe it's something more serious and we need to look into it. And that was a lot of people's big concerns. So hopefully with this new policy, it makes it to where people will take any missing soldier more seriously and be a little bit more kind of, quick to act and try to investigate what is happening. For those of you that are kind of curious as far as what happens to a soldier that does go AWOL, so if, let's say we have a situation like that where a soldier takes off, right, and 24 hours pass, nobody knows where they're at, they start looking for them, they put out warrants for them, whatever the case is, put out, police information out to look for them or whatever, and then they do eventually find them, or maybe they eventually come back, then the leadership has to deal with them as an AWOL soldier. I have known a few people that this has happened to, where they disappeared, they were gone for, maybe a week or two or whatever, and they ended up, I think, coming back on their own because, there's not a lot you can do, right? You got everybody looking for you. You probably got, it's not like you can go looking for a job because, you're gonna do a background check with that employer and they're gonna find out that, hey, you went AWOL in the Army. So the one soldier that I knew, I think they chaptered him out of the Army. Then there was another soldier, I think actually in both cases, they might have been pretty serious enough to where they chaptered those individuals out of the Army. But that's not always the case, because I've also heard of some individuals where they simply get Article 15s and they probably just have to do some extra duty, they get reduced in rank, whatever the case might be. But I think two of the main cases that I remember, I think those individuals end up getting chaptered and basically taken out of the Army. What type of discharge they got, I couldn't tell you. I don't remember what type of discharge it was, but I mean, essentially, maybe if they wanted to, they could pursue it as a dishonorable discharge. It could be an other than honorable discharge. There's probably a lot of kind of possibilities of what the leadership could probably process for a soldier to be kicked out of the Army under these kind of circumstances. So it really just depends. Maybe it depends on the past history of that soldier or how long they've been in, and probably a lot of other factors that determine what type of discharge, if they even decide to go that route and discharge the soldier rather than just giving them Article 15 and making them, do extra duty or reduce their pay. So what are your thoughts then on this kind of topic? Do you think this is a move in the right direction? Do you think more needs to be done? What do you think needs to be done? All that kind of stuff. Love to hear from you guys down in the comment section down below. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. I'm Christopher Chaos, and I'll see you next time. See ya.